To begin with, I was actually born in Toronto, Ontario in 1991 at the Women's College on Main Street. Right from the day I was born, my parents knew I was different. I was diagnosed with Mobius syndrome a couple months after I was born. Shortly after, we moved up to my grandparents' house when I was still a few months old. Growing up with disabilities never easy on anyone. Driving, I probably spent half of my childhood either driving to appointments or seeing doctors, specialists, psychiatrists. I've had more people help me out and care even me. And I have occupational therapists, speech therapists, therapists in general, social workers, all the way through elementary school and middle school. They discontinued the whole social worker stuff after they thought I didn't need it. That was probably grade 7, I think that happened. I thank them all I thank them all personally, but I have no way to contact them. Growing up, kids pick, how kids are. They'll pick on anyone for the right reason, and I had lots of things that they could pick on. If you can believe it, when I was younger, I was actually more hard to understand than I am now. But thanks to the speech therapist, I've gotten to where I am today. And to make matters worse, when I was 7 years old, I lost my father to diabetes in July of 1999. It was 1999. Anybody that knows me would either say I'm weird or I'm a handicap or whatever, but I don't see it that way. To me, a person's worth should be judged by their actions or personality, not their outward appearance or the way they speak or what have you. But some people don't see it that way, unfortunately. But I don't hate people for treating me the way they did or still do. I imagine they got their own shit to deal with besides. It just pisses me off that I worked so hard all the way through my childhood and elementary school and middle school. Well, in fact, I'm still trying to be normal. But what is normal? Does it even exist? I don't really think so, because one person's definition of normal is completely different from another person's, and so on and so on. So people shouldn't judge people just by outward appearances, etc., etc. But that's life. People are gonna find ways to hate you or make fun of you anyway, regardless of how hard you try and be that air quote normal person that you think you are. But sometimes it just feels like it's all in vain. But oh well, I'm trying at least. And my friends, well, most of them anyway, they all get me. They know where I come from, what I've been through. And whenever I tell them, so-and-so said this to me, or so-and-so did this, they all get pissed off and actually ask me what's their name and where they live and all this shit because they're going to get the crap out of them. I appreciate the thought, but I don't want to be the cause of violence. I'm completely opposed to fist fighting. So, machoistic show of force. I prefer to deal with things with my own words instead of unevolving back to a Homo erectus. This angry, and hit you in the face with baseball bat. This angrier, and this stab you with fork. Yeah. What was I like in school? Well, depends on what grade you ask about. Elementary school, I was a great little student. I'd do all my homework, I'd do that, and teachers were proud of me, but right about grade 7, I started acting out. I don't know why, but I was doing stupid shit like, well, I'm not gonna name the stupid shit I've done, but I was in the office in grade 8 more than I was in class anyway. Same with grades 9 and 10 of mostly grade 9 of high school, but in grade 11 I realized that school is more important than what people think it is and trying to be cool or any of that shit. So I buckled down and graduated high school first try with all 20 credits. So I was kind of proud of myself for doing that because I almost didn't graduate when I wanted to. So things worked out in the end. If you're wondering what Moebius syndrome actually is, it's a paralysis of the facial muscles, like right here, and like my tongue is also somewhat paralyzed, so I can't like stick it out very far or whatever, and it impacts my vocal patterns and whatnot. There's actually worse cases than me. Years ago, I went to Maine of the United States for a Moebius conference, and I met quite a few people there that looked exactly like me and sounded like me, and there's actually a lot worse cases. Like, some of the side effects of Moebius can be like missing fingers or toes or entire limbs or legs, fingers, and hands. I don't have any of those, and actually, it can cause mental retardation, which doesn't apply to me because I'm actually, well, in my opinion, I'm pretty intelligent, so that's a bonus. So that's some. And if I get depressed, I just think that there's worse than me out there, so that's kind of mean to people that are worse off than I am. I know there's people worse off than I am, but I don't really know those people. And in grade 5 and 6, I had an operation to correct the facial paralysis at least. They took a nerve out of my leg and implanted it into my face. Well, that's the simple version of it anyway. I had the operation in Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, which is, funnily enough, down the street from Women's College where I was born, so I thought that was kind of neat. And the doctors and nurses there are all just spectacular. Nice, friendly, easy to talk to, but I was actually really scared when I first went in there, because I was like, hey, whatever, it's another operation. I've had many before, various things, so it wasn't my it wasn't my first time on the bicycle, so to speak. But I was young at that point. I wasn't sure what I was getting into, or I didn't know I could actually die from it, because if you look, I don't know if you can see it on the on the camera or not, but there's actually a scar that runs right down there, and the same with the other side, and there's two on the inner thighs, but I'm not going to show you those, trust me, no, you don't want to see that. yeah, but they cut right there, which is right beside the jugular, so, like, not even an inch away. If they had cut too deep, they would have cut my jugular cord open and I would have died. So, I didn't know that part. I found that out afterwards, I was like, what the fuck? You let me go through that? But, yeah, that's where this whole thing comes from. I'm not going to do a good scary face, because whenever I do a full-on smile, it scares people, so it kinda makes me think, if I went through that whole operation and could have died for nothing. But, yeah. And it helped me more than just doing that. It opened my jaw opening, it helped my speech patterns and a bunch of other stuff. Self-confidence, yeah, all that. Yeah. Anyways, well, that's my story. Thanks for sticking around for the whole thing if you did. I'm gonna ask you guys one question. What is normal? And if normal exists, am I normal? To be honest, I don't really care.